Once upon a time in ancient Japan, right up in the north, where sometimes it can get very cold, there was a village. And in the village was born a boy. That boy's name was Ryuichi. And there was something very strange about the boy, because when he was 1 year old, he was the size of a year 2 boy. When he was in year 2, he was the size of a teenager. And when he was a teenager, he was the biggest man in the whole area. But the trouble with Ryuichi is that he was not a kind man. He was a bully, and he liked shoving people around. He could do anything he wanted. He used to wander around the village, and if he was hungry, he'd kick down a door, walk in, and if the daddy in the family was there, he'd push the daddy off his chair, and then eat the daddy's food, and then steal the children's food. Ryuichi's mum and dad couldn't control him, and soon they died and he was an orphan. But nobody could control him. There was no police in the village, and so he did whatever he wanted, tripping people up, pushing people out the way, stealing their stuff. Nobody could do anything about it. And then one night, the villagers came with their torches and knocked on his door. He slid the door open and he said, "Yeah, what do you want?" Well, the villagers looked at him and they said, "Listen, Ryuichi, you bully us, you push us around, you make fun of us. But the worst thing is, you make fun of our beliefs. You make fun of the spirit foxes." Now, in that area of Japan, there is a really strong belief that silver foxes, who are called spirit foxes, are actually people, and that sometimes they turn into people and turn back into foxes. They also can bring really good luck. So if you meet a stranger on the road, you have to be kind to them, because it might be a spirit fox. Well, Ryuichi looked at the crowd and said, "Spirit foxes? There's no such thing as spirit foxes. You're all fools. You're all idiots. You're all stupid. And guess what? I'm going to prove it to you. Tonight, I'm going to go out into the field. I'm going to lie down there and go to sleep. And I bet I don't see any spirit foxes. And when I come back, you better pay for that." Yeah, I don't know what yet, but I'll think of it. And so, what he did, he rolled up his blanket, he took it out in the moonlight towards the fields. He unrolled his blanket and he laid down and put a sheet over him, and he looked up at the stars. But as you know, at night time, it's very noisy in the countryside, because all of the animals come out to play, and they bark and they screech and they scream and they mutter and they move through all of the grasses. And Ryuichi, he was a bully, so he was a bit of a coward as well. He got really scared. "I can't go to sleep. I can't go to sleep. I'm going to stay awake all night. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm scared. And when I get back to that village, I'm going to show those villagers there's no such thing as a spirit fox." Well, the next morning, the sun rose. He hadn't seen any spirit foxes. He rolled up his blanket and looked up. He looked up at the hill, and there he saw a fox, a silver fox, and the fox was just padding along the ridgeway. And he said, "That's a silver fox. It's a spirit fox. I'm going to chase after him. I'll show them villages. I'm going to kill that spirit fox. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That'll show them." He began to move up the hill, to sneak behind the spirit fox. He was very quiet on tiptoes. The fox didn't look around. And then the fox disappeared into a bamboo forest. Ryuichi tried to get through the bamboo, but it was just too thin. So he said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run round the other side with a club, and when that spirit fox comes out, I'm going to kill it. Well, he ran round the other side. He got his club. He could hear the rustling in the bamboo, and out came not a spirit fox, but a young woman. A young woman walking, but she had a silver streak in her jet black hair. Ryuichi froze. It's true. It's true. Spirit foxes, they turn back into people. That's right. That's right. That girl, she's a spirit fox. I'm going to follow her. And so he followed her all the way into the adjoining wood. He followed her through the wood, making sure she didn't turn round. She came to a clearing, and in the clearing was a small hut. He watched her as she went into the hut and closed the door. He looked around the clearing. There were bones, animal bones, cow bones, bird bones. That's right. That's right. That house is a spirit fox's house. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to catch her. That's what I'll do. Catch her, tie her up, and bring her to the village. I'm going to show them I'm not scared of those spirit foxes. And so he went to the hut and he kicked down the door. He was used to kicking down doors. And he came in, and what he saw was an old man, an old woman, and the young woman. And the young woman said, what did you do? Just kick down my family's door? The old man said, get out of our house now. The old woman said, get out now. And Ryuichi said, no, because she's a spirit fox. She's a spirit fox. And the old woman said, what? Are you mad? She's not a spirit fox. That's my daughter. And the old man said, get out of the house and stop hassling our daughter. Well, Ryuichi went and grabbed the young woman. Well, the old man grabbed Ryuichi by the neck and tried to get him out. The old woman grabbed him round the waist, and the young woman started to fight. But Ryuichi was a big man, and he picked up the old man and threw him against the wall. He picked up the old woman, he threw her down, and he picked up the young woman and threw her against the back wall. But the trouble was, on the back wall there was a hook. And as the young woman went back, the hook went through her, and she hung there, dead. Everybody in the hut froze. The old man said, you've killed her. You've killed my daughter. You've killed my daughter. And the old man, with renewed strength, jumped on his shoulders, put his arms around his neck, whereas the old woman got a shovel, and with the blade of a shovel, hit his shins. Ryuichi fell on the floor, and the old man and the old woman tied him up real tight, hog-tied him. And they said, we're going to avenge ourselves on you. You murdered our daughter. No, please, said Ryuichi, please don't kill me. I didn't mean it. Oh, how the bully, the coward, cried. Well, the old man got out a knife, and just then the door flung open, and in walked a holy man. I am a holy man, and what is going on here? Why have you tied that young man up? And the old woman said, he murdered our daughter for no reason. He called her a spirit fox. What? Said the holy man. But look, if you hurt him, if you kill him, you're just like him. So why don't you let me do this? We'll untie him, and he can become my follower, my disciple. And we will walk all over Japan. We will sleep in ditches and sleep in fields when it's raining or when it's snowing. It's not an easy life being my follower. Now Ryuichi, tied up, said, yeah, let me be his follower. I could get away with murder. Yeah, I could get away with murder. All right, said the old woman. All right, said the old man. But first of all, to be my follower, he has to have his head shaved. So The old woman opened a drawer and she got out a razor and she said, I've got a razor, but it's a very, very rusty one. And they sat Ryuichi down in a chair and shaved his head. And it really, really hurt. And he cried out and he screamed. But inside he said, that's all right. Yeah, I'm going to get away with murder. I'll be his follower for about a week, then I'll run away. Yeah, I'm going to get away with murder. The next thing, said the holy man, is that he has to wear my tattoo. Have you got a needle? Oh, yes, said the old man, a very rusty needle. And so, with the rusty needle, the holy man tattooed Ryuichi on the head. And Ryuichi said, that really hurts, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to get away with murder. Yeah. Right, said the holy man. It is done. His head is shaved, he is tattooed, and now he must follow me. But only if he can find me. The holy man just disappeared. Ryuichi said, what? Where's he gone? Did you see that? Did you see that? The old man looked at him and said, yeah, I saw it. The old man disappeared. And he looked at the old woman, and the old woman said, I saw it too. She disappeared. And Ryuichi was alone in the hut. Alone, that is, except for the body of the young woman that he'd killed. She lay on the bench, and suddenly she sat up and she said, bye-bye, ting! She disappeared, ting! The hut disappeared, ting! The clearing disappeared, and Ryuichi found himself sitting in a field. He couldn't believe it. What had happened? What had happened? And then he looked up. He looked up on the ridge, and he saw 4 spirit foxes. And all of them looked down, and all of them laughed. And Ryuichi thought, yes, they're spirit foxes. They're all spirit foxes. I've got to tell the people in the village. You've got to tell them it's true. Spirit foxes are true. And he ran down and he ran into the village. And as he ran down, he grabbed people. It's true, it's true. But when he grabbed people to tell them, the people just looked at him and laughed. It's true, I tell you. It's true, it's true. And they laughed. And then he couldn't understand why they were laughing. And he ran into his hut and he looked in the mirror and he saw the tattoo. And the tattoo said, I am an idiot. And this is the olden days. And in the olden days, you could never get rid of a tattoo. And that is the end of the story.